How we doing?
Excellent.
Yeah, so, designated for return. Got him out to go through some things today. He won't play this week. But it's time to kind of get him going through some football activities. So we opened up the window today.
Is that one of the things where he could, sooner than later, or do you kind of have to see it?
Say it again.
Do you think his return could be sooner or later, or do you have to see it for a little bit?
Well, look, I think today was the first day out, really working, defensive drills. So we'll just kind of see how the process goes. I do think he's closer to being ready to go. Now, exactly when that is, I can't tell you that.
Do you have Chris Olave's designation yet?
He's going to be questionable, and it's probably going to go right up till game time.
When did he get hurt?
On the touchdown. Got his ankle, landed on his ankle, and he's been doing a good job in his rehab. I haven't got a report in terms of exactly how he did today yet, but he'll be a guy that if he can go, he wants to go. If he can go, then we'll go all the way up till game time and make a decision.
And does that mean it's not a high ankle sprain?
It's not a high ankle sprain, no.
Will he be on, if he does go, will he be on a similar pitch count like?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, we kind of got to see where he's at, So we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, how did the responsibilities split up for Derek and Eric, just as far as setting the protections, pointing out the mic, who kind of does what?
Yeah, well, look, they're both responsible for it. Typically it's going to start with the center, and then Derek has the ability to override it in terms of where the protection's going. So that's kind of typically how that operates.
Are you all different in that way, VA, or most teams?
I think kind of depends, really. I mean, I've seen it where quarterback handles it all. I've seen it where the center handles it all. But I would say probably more often than not, the center handles the initial, declaration, and then the quarterback has the ability to override it.
Yeah.
Dennis, why do you feel like when looking at tape, the Giants' defensive line has been so effective in getting to the quarterback?
Yeah, well, look, particularly Thibodeau does a really good job coming off the edge. So I think they got some athletes that are coming off the edge. I think they got some interior pressure and interior push. And then I think they give some unique looks that cause stress on the protection. And so I think all those elements are part of it.
For the season that Paulson's having, how much do you think that competition in training camp kind of helped him set up maybe for the year?
Well, look, I think anytime you have competition at the positions, it brings out the best in everybody, So, but I would also say, I thought he had a really good rookie year. Fought through some injuries last year, so it was a little bit down. I think he's back to playing the way that he's capable of playing.
A couple guys have called him kind of a different cat, to use their words. Have you noticed the same thing, or is that?
He's from Stanford. They're all a little bit different. No offense, but look, he's highly intelligent, and he's got a thought process with everything he does.
You guys have faced multiple dual threat quarterbacks at this point. What makes Tommy DeVito different than some of you guys?
Yeah, look, I think he's got some instincts in terms of being a runner. And I thought you saw it last week against Green Bay, where when he didn't have what he wanted initially, he was quick to tuck it and run. And so that'll be something that we'll have to be aware of and try to do a good job at not letting him scramble out.
Pairing the hand with Saquon Barkley, what do they stack up as maybe the most versatile backfield team with considering Saquon's good and both the runner and pass game?
Yeah, well, I think Saquon's one of the better backs in our league. He does a really good job both in his ability to run the football, his stop and start ability. I think is pretty unique. He's got a lot of power, good contact balance. Does a really good job in the passing game. Again, his ability to stop and start makes it hard for guys to have to cover him. So it's a challenge.
Dennis, is there a concern with Ryan Ramczyk's knee this week?
Well, look, he's got a knee that we got to manage, every single week. So I think, we'll see, how he does. I think it's bothered him a little bit this week. And so we'll see where he's at come game day.
Is that an injury, or is it just kind of where he's
It's
at?
really kind of an issue that he's been dealing with. Yeah.
That's different from didn't he have a knee injury a few years back? That kind of
Look, I mean,
having
there's a lot of guys that play up front, on the offensive line that have a lot of, things that you have to manage, and certainly his has, been pretty significant. We've had to manage him. Well, at least I know the last couple of years. I can't speak for exactly what we did prior to that, but the last couple of years we've had to manage him.
Is that something that could affect his play, like being on a snap count this weekend, or no?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. He's done a really good job of battling through it.
Dennis, I just wanted to ask this question because of the news that's happened today in the NFL with one of the coaches losing their jobs. I guess with the way that game kind of played out last night, there was maybe that perception outside that, hey, maybe players he lost the locker room or something like that. For you, what's kind of been your approach or your steps or your message to your team to make sure that your players always respond to you when you want them to?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I think our guys have responded to every challenge that they've faced this year. So it hadn't always gone the way that we wanted to go, but I think our guys, accept the challenge and try to rise up whenever they get an opportunity to. So our message really has been, let's go 1-0 this week. Let's stick to the process, and let's try to be the best version of ourselves as we can on Sunday.
Yeah, and I was going to kind of follow up because, I mean, if you look at the games, it does, you haven't had games where it's looked that bad. That you've had games where they've been competitive. I think 5 one-score losses this season. Have you liked how the players have responded in those tough moments?
Yeah, look, I think for the most part, our guys have responded when they've been challenged. And look, we've had a lot of those games this year where we've been, challenged, particularly early in games. Our guys keep battling, fighting back, get ourselves back into the game, and but look, ultimately, it's about winning in this league, and so we've got to get ourselves over the hump.
Do you ever put the division standings and playoff race up on a PowerPoint?
Look, we go through a multitude of different things each and every week. Some weeks it's different than others, but I think we had a stretch there where we were, kind of monitoring that a little bit. It was a little bit of motivation, and then I think the last couple of weeks it's been more about, look, let's take care of this week, and let's focus on this week, because none of those other things really matter if you don't take care of your business this week.